Det er ikke så tit, man ser sådan en student. Ja. Selvom man kan køre den der. Det er bare dagens program. Så går jeg det var nogen, der er meget svært at være andre. Det er også det der med, men så er der nogen, der er langt foran. Så har de problemer, de arbejder. Så du forholder dig til vidt forskellige punkter. Hvad for en knap har du trykket på? Hvad har du lavet? Hvad har du lavet? Hvad ligger udenfor opgaven?
Det der med bare så og evne.
Sandpladspædagogik, det går bare. Det er rigtigt.
Jeg kunne sige, at du kan få rundvejs. Så skal du forklare, at man skal
So you would have to have some sitting, so she's now looking at
the
no, in the bad way. Oh yeah, but I'm here for a couple of things. Well, this morning you said there was English, oh yes, I think that's like I said, I know something has changed.
Er det ikke vildt? Det er simpelthen fedt. Den skal jeg bruge op for min klasse. Der skal jeg lige tage med. Så skal jeg lige. Ja. Hvor er det sidste år? Jeg er ikke så slem.
It's nothing that we can provide.
Right. Hi everyone, it's me again. Some of you might saw me yesterday for the presentation of Moodle, where I actually explained how you can engage students during your lectures. And now I would love to give you some more information on engaging students and following up on your students after your lectures. So we have MoodleMoot. It's our second product, and this is actually to study efficiently anytime, anywhere. So study more efficiently. Why do we want our students to study more efficiently? We want them to get their goals, their grades, their diplomas, of course. And we're going to help you do that by cognitive science. I'm not going to lecture you too much on that. But this is all about the forgetting curve. We know that students forget a lot. And we want them to actually have the spaced repetition method within their studying. So this is actually going to improve their long-term memorization. So this is the cognitive science part behind the software, but also artificial intelligence in the sense that you can enable that to have your data analysis. So MoodleMoot is studying by flashcards, okay? We have created the software in January 2019. It's quite new, it's quite young, but we have got a little bit of luck with the breath. Please enter, don't worry. Take a seat. You did not miss so much. It was just a little recap maybe for the new ones. Studying by flashcards to help students revise better. To actually use the flashcards to have them creating their knowledge within their long-term memory. So saying that these milestones are very important. In January we began to develop the platform. We have got a grant of a 500k of the Brussels Institute for Research and Innovation, which we're very proud of. In April we started testing. Also in July we actually had our first universities in France with whom we started testing and could get very important feedback. And in September we launched, so knowing that we are finishing our gamma testing, I would also invite you to afterwards test and give us feedback on it. This is actually the interface, so you can see that you can create courses and join courses and create digital flashcards on that. Alright, take turn with the correct answer, with the incorrect answer. You can see if a student has skipped chapters or has skipped courses or did well, which is also nice. And this is an example of a flashcard. So you can see that you have the level of answers, so they can go through the courses and the chapters that you've created. And actually, what I still wanted you to do is, I'm going to quickly go to the PC to show how you can connect with your phone. So I'm going to ask you to take your phones out again. And thank you. Let's connect yourself to the URL or the QR code. And then I'm going to launch the question. So you see again, this was Moodle yesterday, so we still have 3 people connected, 4 people connected. That would be best for you because I'm going to propose you a little trial. So if you would like to use that, it would be better that you put in your real email address. If anyone has problems connecting themselves, just raise your hands the old-fashioned way and I will help you out. Yeah, yes. You wait for the next clap, meaning that I didn't pose my question just yet. Okay. Keep connecting. I see some people hitting the camera for the QR codes then. Is that okay for you? Alright. So here you can leave your email address and I'm going to show you a little bit more on the interface. Don't feel obliged, okay? It's only a suggestion. I just wanted to say that we really appreciate the feedback on this and that we need the feedback to innovate our platforms, and feedback from a pedagogical point of view is something that will help us out. I think we're maybe going to reach the full 100%. That would be lovely. Almost. I'm happy with 92 also. Good. If you didn't have time, you can always come by our stand and leave your email address there. Thank you for that. All right. I'm going to exit here. Give me just a little moment. So here you can see a website page. So I'm going to log in here. Okay. Let's create a content. That's better. Sorry for the delay here. You might do the same if you have a computer, and you can follow. Okay, well, what I will do is actually invite you to come over our stand and to give you a demo in person there, because I think the password and everything is not well linked. So again, just a little recap. Digital flashcards, studying by digital flashcards, forgetting curve, spaced repetition, making sure that your students learn in an efficient and a better way. And of course, tracking their progress by having the analytics on skipping courses, skipping chapters, giving correct answers, etc. So I hope that I can also invite you at our stand for a demo in person. Thank you very much.
Jeg har faktisk ikke set det.
Can we have access to a bank account? Yes. Digo, porque es que te va a abrir una pestaña nueva. Cancelar.
Okay, 1 minute. 1 minute ahead the schedule, but we would like to start with the next presentation in order not to make you lose so many time here. So let me introduce Antonino Sistak from Real Speaker. He will talk about how with voice technology we can improve the customer experience using Moodle. So I'll give you the word to Antonino.
Thank you very much. I'm going to speak in English, given that most of the audience is English speakers. Sorry if I make any mistake. Voice is now a trend. Everybody's talking about voice. There are some studies. Sometimes it's not clear which market it is, but they're saying that in 2020, more than 60% of online searches are going to come from voice. Most likely in the Chinese market. You might be using them, or you probably or surely know about automatic assistants and smart assistants that are not only listening to you, but are giving information to you via this audio alternative that is really growing, and some courses are saying that it's the highest growth trend in all the technology history. So, just to introduce some small projects outside education, we are speech enabling. We are giving voice to smart assistants. For example, Telefónica Assistant here in Spain. This is a smart helper that MSC cruise company has put in their rooms to assist most likely elderly people, elderly passengers, to contract and get information about the excursions and the events taking place in the city. We are creating voices and we are giving voices to robots. Some of them are robotics, but many of them are very natural. In fact, some of the robots using our voices are quite natural looking. This is also a very much growing market. So what we provide in all this industry is a one touch point, one voice, one interaction, one voice brand for a company. Meaning that either they use a robot, they use a smart assistant, they use a bot in the website, they speech enable the website through our service, or they have a call center. All of their customers receive one voice, and then that's what it's called audio branding. You identify that voice with the brand, and then it's really relating to you with that brand. Well, there are also, that's another part of our business, which is creating custom voices, corporate voices. Those are some examples of the ones that we are doing. Well, that's a very short audio clip. Now, coming back to the education area, I'm going to show some statistics, very shortly, and so you will understand how this audio comes into place. Well, this is a statistic that varies between 40 and 75%, depending on the courses, but many, a high percentage of students drop out of online courses. Another report that is saying that almost 1 out of 5 children have issues accessing information or accessing, functioning with learning content. And some of them, when they arrive to the university, they don't even communicate that they have those issues. They don't either communicate to the university, so they don't receive any assistance, additional assistance, or in almost all the cases, they don't tell the professors that they have this issue. And in online learning, where the percentage of students with disabilities is normally higher, this is even higher problem. We made a small trial, a small essay with Universidad de Barcelona, this is published, this is a published study. 1 out of 5 students in first year of university confess that they have issues to concentrate reading or issues comprehending the reading of long text. This is an issue, of course, but this is a reality. And we are seeing in the US that the trend is even higher from secondary education and high school. So, another study, 7% consider that mobile access is really important, and that also will introduce how not only persons or students with disabilities, but many other users are benefiting from audio. 60% use smartphone to study, McGraw-Hill conclusions, and not to students in the end access information in the same way. So why should you provide them with the same approach? This is the norm, which cover a little bit accessibility in web, but also is covering accessibility in other areas. And in fact, it tells you that not even the most accessible content is accessible for certain students. So give them a little bit more. The recent legislation that is being applied in all the European countries that is also requiring documents and PDFs to be accessible. well, in any case, no.
Lower right corner, there's another button.
Yeah. Just to activate automatically. I mean, it's just a small thing. And no, it doesn't matter. In any case, this is our one of our voices. It's of course not Abraham Lincoln voice, but he was a reader, a voice aloud reader. So and his conclusion was that accessing that information through two channels, in this case, what is called bimodal access or bimodal presentation, made him remember the information better and made him understand also it better. And this has been proved in many studies, where not only people or students with disabilities, but a wider group of students are benefiting through boosted motivation, through better self-esteem when interacting with written content, and improved learning results in the end. So I think that this is kind of three approaches of users that are really benefiting from it. From accessibility point of view, people that have really limited literacy skills or visual impairments. For example, people that use Zoom to read PDF or other kind of files, and that is very tiring for their sight. And in some instances, even the interaction is not great. So accessing an audio version of that is really great for them. People with dyslexia, this is a simulation of how some dyslexic users access information. It's very difficult to concentrate on that text, and they tell us, I need to analyze almost every character and then understand the word and then the sentence. We are listening to the content, and in one or two instances, we get it, which is much more convenient, of course. Then, of course, for engagement, improve engagement, meaning that for those that prefer to listen rather to read, or for those that understand and learns better in both ways, or also for language learners. It's great if you are learning French or English, other foreign language, to listen while you are reading, because you will see how we highlight every word that we use. And then for convenience, in the end, mobile users, people on the go, students that are coming to the university or that are working and that don't have much time to read the written text, they can just access it and listen to it, which is very convenient. Also, elderly and adult learners is really interesting. So now, let me show you how Moodle
Read Speaker within the Moodle Learning Management System. How faculty can use text-to-speech to increase student retention and comprehension. Read Speaker is an online-based tool that has been added to the Moodle environment to allow students to listen to course content. The Read Speaker functionality has been made available in all Moodle courses. Click the play button to listen to the main content of the page. 10 facts about community college students. Community colleges in the United States are primarily two-year public institutions providing higher education and lower-level tertiary education. Community colleges may also be referred to as junior colleges, technical colleges, two-year colleges, and city colleges. Within the Read Speaker player, students can set individual preferences for settings including reading speed, highlighting colors, text magnifying, and automatic scrolling. Their preferences will be saved. Additionally, students can download an MP3 of the audio to load onto their devices for offline listening. In addition to HTML content, all documents uploaded into the Moodle LMS are automatically speech-enabled with Read Speaker Doc Reader. Click the speaker icon next to the document name to open the document in Read Speaker Doc Reader. make your online courses talk. ReadSpeaker registered trademark online text-to-speech solutions let you easily and inexpensively transform the learning experience. Students can also view the document in text-only mode. Students can personalize their document reading experience with different settings. Also, they can make use of the literacy support tools in DocReader, including a screen masking tool and the reading ruler. Students can use ReadSpeaker and Moodle to listen to all course content.
So, well, I think that you get the sense of it. In the end, it's the whole content that you find in Moodle, not only, as you saw, pure text, but also documents. Documents that you can even access in a text mode, only mode, which is also very beneficial if you have low vision or you are accessing from a small screen, because you can change the contrast, you can change the font and the size and read it yourself, not even listen to it. So in the end, it's making all this content and the necessity of accessibility and good structure of the content. It's making all the professor body conscious of the need, and in the end, it's also providing a tool for online students to listen if they want, when they want, without further configuration in their laptop, further configuration in the tablet, in the mobile, because it works across devices and across platforms. Very fast, and this is just commercial thing. Very high level service and support. Powerful TTS, the best voices in the market. And there are independent experts that says that with a real global footprint. Universities all over the world, publishers that we have partnered with, and that we are their voice, and we provide our voices in many languages. Educational partners all over the place, LMSs and authoring tools, and we are working we offer voices in washing machines. There are voices that are being used, as you saw, in robots. There are many websites all over the world that have our service. Well, it's a little bit small and niche technology, but that is helping a big crowd out there. So thank you very much for your attention. If you
anybody has any questions or would like to know something?
Okay.
Yeah. Are there different accents? Sure. As a learner, can you choose different accents for the voice?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's something that is very interesting. It's not only we have for certain languages we have voices with different accents, of course. So, for example, universities in Australia use Australian English, and they don't use US English, and universities in the UK or publishers in the UK uses that. In Latin America, for example, we provide with Latin Spanish, neutral Latin Spanish, because they prefer that, and of course Castilian Spanish. And then, depending on the way that you implement it, you are allowed to, as a student, to also select that. Not only accent, but also sometimes language. Selecting language is important because sometimes in a course in English, you might have a document linked in Spanish or French. So allowing, and many times it's not even marked, the language change. So allowing the students to select the reading language is really great for them. So you can have several voices in the same language, several accents in the same language, and you can also have several languages. In fact, we are also providing translation automatic translation services using Google API, which also helps sometimes. When a PDF is published in English in a Spanish course and the student doesn't have really working level of English, then they can use the translation and well, access a little bit about the information. Thank you very much for the question. Yeah.
I am very much involved in mathematics.
Right.
And as many students in the STEM area, they are affected by the same problem, having the equations. Do you also address that issue?
Yeah. Thank you very much for the question too. In fact, we are able to speech enable MathML. So when, of course, if we find an equation which is image, it's not even wireless is able to handle that. But if we find and the service finds an equation that is correctly edited, or even easier with an image with an alternative text, we are going to speech enable that. Yeah. So that's very as I was saying about document reading and allowing people to understand that it's important to have correct marked and structured documents. It's the same with math. Many times students doesn't realize that, don't even know how to read that equation. If you provide them with an alternative, they're going to need to be able to listen to it, or even read that alternative. So it's again improving the accessibility of the content, but we are able to read correctly marked math. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, Jose.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, very well, very well.
Good.
Ready for the show?
Yes. I had a dry run in Philadelphia at the US MoodleMoot, so this is good.
Should I introduce you as the Big Blue Button?
Yeah, you can say I'm the product manager of Big Blue Button, and I also moonlight as the CEO of Blindside Networks.
Great. Hello again. Let me introduce, and to be very, very quick, in order not to lose time, I'll introduce Fred Dixon, the product manager for Big Blue Button, one of our, I don't know if it was our first or one of our first integrations within Moodle, a really good company to collaborate with us, and he will explain you a little bit about how to increase the student engagement.
Great, thank you.
You can use this, or even, I think this is also one.
Test? Okay. And I have something to advance the slides?
Yeah, pointer.
The pointer, yes. All right. Hey, okay. So, welcome. I have 20 minutes. I'm going to cover about 60 slides. I'll try to leave some time at the end. Oh, it's going to go well, don't worry. And Jesus and I are downstairs, so if there's any questions you have, come down. If you have good things to say about the product, I will say the developers. If you have any feedback, you give it to me. And as it was introduced, I'm the product manager for Big Blue Button. So Big Blue Button is an open source web conferencing system. It's been in development for 10 years. And today it's fully HTML5. It runs on your mobile device, your iPhone, your Android. We can show it downstairs. We have it very visual in terms of like, here's an example where we did recently, you can make the webcam pretty large, which was for schools that were doing sign language. They want to be able to have the students see the webcam. This is an example of running on a phone, an iPhone. So this is actually mine. I just took a screenshot of it a little while back. And if I rotate it, that's what it looks like rotated. It's the same client. There's no app to install. There's no binary to download and run. The HTML5 client runs in Safari Mobile unless you share audio and video. We also support Moodle Mobile. Jesus has done a lot of work in this area. This allows you to have Moodle Mobile, have classes, you can go into it, you can launch right on your device. When you click on it, it will launch the browser, and again, as I showed a few moments ago, it will just load up. We were Flash for many years, and Flash enabled us to create the product, to get a large customer base, and in the last 6 months, we transitioned over completely. So if you go to our website now, there's very little reference left to Flash, and thanks to Apple for supporting VP8 on iOS, and Android always had Chrome, which was really good. For those of you that are techie, if you want hosting, we can provide you hosting. You can also install Big Blue Button yourself in 15 minutes. We are the only open source project that has a money back guarantee. If you install Big Blue Button in 15 minutes and you're not satisfied, we'll give you your money back. We have a large community of people that work together on Big Blue Button. Blindside Networks is not the only one. There are some companies in Brazil that work on it, Tunisia, States, other places. We have over 35 languages. This is a picture from our last developer summit, where we had 25 people come together in Toronto, Ontario for a week to work. And in 2 weeks' time, we'll be down in Brazil for our 15th developer summit on Big Blue Button. We have been incorporated into Moodle Cloud since 2015. Anybody who has a Moodle Cloud account has a Big Blue Button access to use. I mentioned the localizations thanks to the community, Japanese, many types of languages. It's very pleasurable to have someone come up and say, hey, I'm from China. I think there's one woman that did and says that they're running Big Blue Button in China. And I thought, it's great, love to see it. And right to left support as well. So there are a number of Arab universities that are using Big Blue Button, and we had developers in the community make sure it worked right to left. Accessibility is really important. We work with an external company that validates software to make sure they're accessible. So I'm pleased to say that Big Blue Button is WCAG 2.0 AA accessible with a few exceptions. And this is an example of us doing live captioning. So we can support a stenographer in the session. The captions will appear, and they'll appear as subtitles in the recording. And the WCAG 2.0 accessibility and Section 508. So when people ask why Big Blue Button, we always say there are 3 things that we differentiate ourselves. A deep integration with Moodle. We focus on student engagement. That's the online pedagogy and analytics. In terms of the plugin, the integration, there's over 1,600 plugins in the Moodle database. I checked this morning. Jesus' slide said that we were number 7. We actually are number 6 in the overall download in the last 12 months. So it's a lot of people who have downloaded it. We'll support you back to Moodle 2.0, but really you want to be running the latest versions of Moodle. Hard to see in the slide, but there's a lot of work that's gone into the code quality as well. So we really take a lot of time and effort to make sure we have the best possible integration. And that's the usage of Big Blue Button, so it's grown over the years. That's the number of sites that are running it. Okay, so now I'm going to give you a couple quick visuals of what it looks like in Moodle, and then talk about the product, and then finish up with the roadmap. And this is where the slides get faster, so hang on. So you can have an integration, you can add an activity. When you do, you choose the Big Blue Button plugin, very much like other plugins. You only need to give a name to the class, that's it. There's lots of capabilities, but if you give a name, you can have students go into it. It'll appear inside the course as another activity link. When you click, it'll tell you whatever text you put in, and there's a button. Here we show it as orange because it's Moodle. Imagine it's blue, and you click on it, and you go into Big Blue Button. Instructors go in as moderators, and students go in as viewers. Moderators can make themselves presenter, or the students, and the students can only share their webcam and chat and talk, but a moderator has all the power. They can mute students, they can kick students out, they can put students in their breakout rooms. So pretty much all the capabilities you'd expect. Plugin will tell you if the room is active, and some advanced features which Jesus can give a better look at downstairs. Certainly you can say the text. We try to make use of all the common module capabilities. Activity settings, to view the recordings, put in the calendar, groups, and we recently did activity completion. So you as the instructor can now say, I want to mark this activity as being completed when students have been in the session for more than 2 hours. That data will be calculated in Moodle and it'll be sent back to the, or calculated in Big Blue Button and sent back to the plugin. And then the plugin will mark your students if they've been in a session for more than 2 hours. Pre-upload slides and recordings. So I'm going to show that you can get the recordings right from the plugin itself. The recordings are stored in the Big Blue Button server. You can edit the titles, and you can set the visibility or delete them. These are all things that the instructor can do, not the students. So everything that you'd expect that you could do with kind of like starting sessions, managing who goes in, managing the recordings afterwards is there. Okay, you can import links from other classes, other recording links into the session as well. Okay, engagement. So we think about engagement in terms of 4 use cases: virtual office hours, flipped classroom, group collaboration, and full online classes. These are all ways that you can do things synchronously, whereas flipped classroom kind of matches in because you want to record something ahead of time. So in Big Blue Button, you can join your audio. We can support dial-in numbers as well. You can share your webcam, your audio. You can do whiteboard. And if you're doing office hours, that you have multi-user whiteboard. So you can draw at the same time the students can. Again, we did this because we want to focus on the pedagogic engagement, not just, hey, we'll show webcams and that's it. How do you engage students? They have emojis, they can emote. And obviously in the recordings, you can see everything was shared as well. A flipped classroom, you can record the sessions in Big Blue Button as well. So you can record your screen, you can record your webcam, you can record your audio. So imagine you want to record, let's say 10 minutes of some content for the next class, invite students to watch it ahead of time so you can focus more on talking about the content as opposed to like, I'm going to cover Accounting 101 and in case you didn't read your textbook, I will now read it out for you. You know, you can record some content ahead. You have the control over when to start the recording and stop it. And you can do that multiple times during the session. At the end, Big Blue Button will take all those segments of the start-stop and put it together for you in a single recording. And those students can view it from inside the Moodle as I showed earlier. Group collaboration. So in Moodle, you can set up groups and give students access to Big Blue Button, but you can also get group collaboration going with inside the live session. So we have shared notes. So during the session, you can invite students to maybe capture content that was shared during the session. Those recordings will appear very soon afterwards as a recording format. Breakout rooms is something we added about 2 years ago. You can take students, you can drag and drop them into breakout rooms, get them to collaborate, go into the room, hear how they're doing, and then have them all come back in the main room and present later on. So there's joining a breakout room. This is the student's view of when they're invited to join. The instructor can see what's going on in the breakout rooms, who's in the breakout rooms, join them, listen in on them, and you can end them as well. Okay, we recently added, if you have collaboration and you want to see who's talking, it'll show you who's talking in the session. And yes, we can do 12 webcams, we can do 15 webcams. There's value there, but there's lots of other things we try to do as I'm showing for collaboration. So you have done now you have to do a full online class. It's Thursday night, it's 7 p.m. There's going to be a 3-hour lecture on your favorite topic. You're the instructor, so you get to set the topic. And what can we do? Well, we can do public chat. You can share a YouTube video during the session, and it will synchronize the playing on all the students' computers. You can lock the students down. This is very good for K-12, where they maybe don't want the students sharing their webcam or doing private chat. So they have all these capabilities of locking down. You can do polling, so you can get interactive responses back. And you can publish the polls. You can see the students respond back, and you can publish it. You can mute somebody if they're causing background noise. And normally in a session, I would do a live demo. I'd get everyone to bring out their phone or whatever, but we're all downstairs. And you can access Big Blue Button outside of Moodle as well. So we have created a front end, we call it Green Light, which is a way that you can set up your own rooms, create permanent URLs, send them to people. So maybe you have a course in Moodle that spans multiple sections, and you want students from multiple sections to come in. This is open source as well. It's a Ruby on Rails application. When we, Blindside Networks, do hosting, we can set it up for your school as well. All right, analytics. We can tell you every student who was there, how long they were there, did they ever chat, raise their hand, respond to a poll, do emoji, and we can tell you how long they spoke. We can give you this data back as a recording format. It's just a static web page, but it shows you all this data, and it gives you the data that you can download as a CSV file. And it was from this data that we were able to do activity completion. So when the session finishes, that data actually gets brought back to Moodle, and we pull out the duration, and we use that to calculate, has the student met the criteria, the rule, for activity completion. Okay, so this gets a bit more interactive now. Roadmap. So as a product manager, we always have things we want to do to the product based on feedback from others. So if you don't see something here, tell us or let us know later on. I would love to hear it. For integration, currently the activity completion is when the student has been online for X number of minutes. We can also add other criteria as well, when they have responded to more than 2 polls, when they have spoken for more than 10 minutes. There's all this data we have, so we can add rules over time in terms of what the instructor would like to set as a threshold for completion. In Moodle, you can assign people to groups. It'd be great if when you're doing breakout rooms, that kind of group assignment that's in Moodle kind of gets carried over, and that group assignment is available in the plugin, or when you do the breakout rooms. For engagement, we put students in the breakout rooms, and imagine in the shared notes, you can type in some text, some bullets, and those get created slides automatically, and those slides come back in the main room. So you could say, go to breakout rooms, you're gonna have 10 minutes, you're gonna create 2 slides, and then each one's gonna present when they come back. We can workflow that entire process to make it easy for the instructor, and again, get students applying their knowledge. Quizzing is something we have polling, but we can also do quizzing where there's like a couple questions to answer, and the instructor has already preset which is the correct answer, and to get students working on them individually. And maybe the instructor can see all the students' progress. So again, applying knowledge, getting them to be thinking about the content. And this one, randomly choose a student in the class. This was for K-12. I'm teaching 50 students. They all know who my favorites are, but imagine like this spinning wheel comes up and all the names go by until it stops on one, and nobody knows who's gonna get selected, right? Gotta keep those students on edge, Analytics, we currently report on the analytics for 1 session. We're working on it where we have sort of a software as a service where we can provide you the analytics across multiple sessions. So you could see how a particular student has done across multiple online classes. For Moodle for Workplace, we're thinking of if you have some checking to make sure that someone's actually at the computer, like we randomly ask them 3 times during the hour, are you there? And this will help make sure if you're doing workplace safety training, that at the end of the hour, the person was actually there. You can attest to it because they would have had to been to get these random, respond to these random prompts. And we want to integrate with Moodle Analytics because the predictive learning of analytics, we have information what students are doing online that should be able to contribute to predicting, are there any students at risk? Obviously, if you've done 3 classes and you have never talked, never raised your hand, never responded to a poll, done nothing, and everybody else in the session has been very active, this might be a predictor that you need a bit more support. And that is Big Blue Button, where we are today and where we want to go in the future. I'd be happy in the time that I've left to answer any questions. I will let you know you all get a free copy of Big Blue Button for showing up, so just come see us and we'll tell you where you can download it. Any questions? Yes?
Sometimes you have to request to use more than 1 camera.
Yes. This is actually on our roadmap, so we have instructors or students or in-classroom setups where maybe the laptop is connected to a camera that faces the students and one that faces the instructor. We actually had that in the Flash client. It was something we had before, so there was a few things that Flash kind of did well, but we're kind of filling in the gaps. That is on the roadmap. Okay. Good point. Yes?
You can try to share your screen with 1 camera and have the other camera work.
Yeah, I think there's some software that it's tricky. It'll be much better if we just do it.
Why didn't you show this magic convert bullet points into questions?
because it's on a roadmap. It's not built yet. It's something I keep talking about that eventually we're going to do. But it's like I want to do this because this is it's so in contrast to like just
It's working already. Bullet points into questions.
So what I was describing here was in a breakout room, you use the shared notes, and that text from the shared notes gets turned into slides, and then those slides come back to the main room.
Okay, yeah.
That we want to build. We know how to do it. It's just priorities, right? It's what people would like. Okay, this side of the room has been awesome. You guys. Oh, good.
It's possible to have a whiteboard made by a teacher, for example, with forms, and divide the class into different groups and share the same screen so they can work in groups on the screen I've created and then collect everything to talk about what they have done.
So, what's your name? You have to flip over I can't read it. Okay, Dominique, I didn't put that on there, but that's exactly what we want to do. So that quizzing, if you had, let's say, a math problem, you had 16 students, imagine you put them all into their own space, they all use the whiteboard, and you, the instructor, can see like a 4x4 grid, and it's like, this student is struggling, let me go help them. So we can give you visibility. Look, this is the plan. We want to be able to give you visibility of what students are working on. And when you...
On the roadmap.
On the roadmap. That, again, differentiation. Yes?
Just a quick question in regards to scheduling a video session. Is there an iCloud download availability?
There is in Greenlight, not yet in Moodle, but we hear you.
But as the event go to Moodle calendar, the session goes to Moodle calendar, so you can
Yes.
get icon from the Moodle calendar.
Okay, yes, we went on a journey. It was no, and we ended in yes. That was awesome.
I'm from Yumina. My question is about scalability. So we have clients where we need to support large groups, like 1,000 learners.
Okay, I can.
What's going your roadmap regarding this?
Good. We have the plans to basically, Big Blue Button's designed for engagement, right? So we focus on. But if you have 1,000 people, there's likely maybe 50 are going to want to be engaged, like maybe they type and chat. The other 950, they want to watch your session. So the plan is that we're going to add live streaming to Big Blue Button, where you can live stream the session on a content distribution network like YouTube Live or Akamai, and through that you can support 500 or 5,000. 2020, but if a Moodle partner drives a truckload of money to our front door, we'll give it to you earlier. You could be the first person. Yes, you have a license, do you? You have a driver's license? Good. Okay. I just want to make sure I don't take any time for the next presenter. How are we doing? Thank you very much for coming.
Okay, so good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being here. We swapped sessions, so this is the one about the Italian translation of the Moodle documentation. I will have an impossible mission, trying to concentrate in 15 minutes, actually, 3 years work, which is rather tough. I'll try to even give some sensation of what we did. And in case I didn't manage to do that, please feel free to contact me. That is my email address. You can have a look at this presentation. I will also make the file available as soon as you want. So, which is a short introduction and motivation. Moodle is an incredible piece of software, as everybody knows. It can model almost any educational need. It seems complicated. Every time I get addressed, oh no, it's too complicated. But I always answer, it's not complicated. It's complete. As far as you want to model any kind of educational need, you must have hundreds of settings. That's impossible to do without. So its richness also requires a good detailed documentation. And a lot of documentation is actually available. It is either point-wise within the interface or detailed, which is available online. The point is that the inline documentation is available in almost any language. It is cured by the Moodle HQ with the help of Moodle partners. We also have the Italian Moodle partners improve their translation. And then you have the online one, which is available almost only in English, because in other languages it's like spotty. It's not complete, except for some cases. But for some nations, and unfortunately Italy is one of those, English is still a linguistic barrier. So there are a lot of Moodle manuals in any language. The point is that they are often incomplete, rather old, and almost all of them are entry level, because if you want to go any further, you have to create a big manual for that. So the point is also that translating Moodle is a hard task. This is the figure of the total page which are in the wiki for one single version of Moodle. There are different pages of different kinds. Let's say that the core one is this one. They cover a wide range of topics: sysadmin, programming, web technologies, pedagogy, and the point is that translators, almost all of them, come from humanistic background. So this is another big issue. Now, I am a Moodle enthusiast. I use and teach Moodle in my courses. I happen to share my courses with digital humanities and linguistic and translation degree courses. So I also could count on a graduate student with a previous knowledge, previous degree in a foreign language. She was a student of mine. I teach technologies for distance learning, and I use and teach Moodle. So I said, okay, now or never. So I asked at the university, I get their sponsorship, and I had 13 internships, young translators doing the job. Okay, part of it. So as you can see, many countries, rather a short list of translation. This was the point. Now, what do you start from? You may think, okay, after all, the interface is translated. It's a good starting point. Well, it is in part, because actually this makes the translation forced and with a lot of restraint. Because every time you find some words which is on the interface, you must always translate that word in the same way. Every time you find a path, you have to follow the path on your instance, just to be sure that you use the same word, click on the same names. And that makes the translation hard. And I will also tell you why. So your line one, everybody knows, you go here, you click, and you get the page. Now, just to make that magic, this link is not to this page. It's to a redirect page, which actually takes you to this one. So you have to edit 2 pages at the moment. Then you have the template, which collects the related pages, and this is another 1 page to edit. And then there are the categories. Assume you want to see everything about grades. You go to the grades category, and your new page has to be listed there. So you have to always check those pages. And then, okay, there is 1 page for each version of Moodle. So this is why. So how we did it? If we wanted it to be a multidisciplinary project. We wanted it to be also something valid for the university. So we involved students from 2 degree courses. We use problem-based learning, peer education, learn by doing, and with a strong use of technology, as we will see in a short while. We also had a multiple organizational structure. Among peers, they helped each other, and hierarchical. We had young translators. As far as they did 2/3 of their work, they became senior translators, being able to revise other translators' work because they went into the glossary. And then I had my collaborator and student who was able to handle languages and Moodle itself. And then at the end, there was me and the community. We had 3 layers of revision just to allow a high-quality translation. So, human resources. Me. 13 plus, because some of them started, then went away on Erasmus, so we had even more. And for each of them, it was 150 hours. Then do the multiplication, how much time it needs to go away. And 1 graduate student. Resources. We used Google Suite for almost everything. In order to document the project itself, give support to the young translators, as a collaborative platform to supervision work and to do the accounting. How we manage to have them doing under 50 hours? We have to set up an accounting system. YouTube documentation. Some senior translators also went to YouTube and recording some live session on how to do it the right way. We also use YouTube Studio for the handling of subtitles because we translated those 2. And then we used Moodle Sandbox, so you could switch language and that on screen, both languages always for all screens. Moodle Cloud, which was of great help, and And remember, there were humanistic background. When the version changed, we couldn't count anymore on Moodle Cloud, which gets updated. We were still translating the long-term support, which was our investment. So we used local installations. So imagine them running a local Moodle installation just to do the translation. Okay, there was so, phases. The first one, we started collecting pages. We went to the home page and started growing out of it. The farther the page, the less important it is. That's what we assume. And we started collecting pages with the help of the templates. We had a worksheet starting collecting pages. Tools. What was how we organized the work? We had a Google Drive directory. Each translator had his own subdirectory where he was supposed to create pages. We put the list. They went to one page, copied the link, put on another page translation. I am in charge of this one and started creating a new document. 2 columns, paste twice, and then start translating on place. While using, then we had also some tools, a glossary that we built up over time, and also with the help of the strings taken from Amos. We took almost all technology around languages in Moodle, just to help us. Okay, and sandbox, of course. We had glossaries. These were the translation of some common words, the capabilities, we also translated those. And then we had our tool, the traductometer, which at the end turned out to be something rather sophisticated. It was so sophisticated at the end that it also spotted problems in the original documentation. Words not always used in the same way, and templates being different. I'll show you. I hope. How much time? How it worked. This was a list of the pages. These are all links. We collected them. We put some priority on them. So I didn't know how much people I would have gathered at the end, how much internship. So I said, let's start from the most important one, and then put some level. And then, as you see, there is a drop-down list. I take care of it. So the student was supposed to copy this link, paste it here on the translation page, okay? And then saying, I am the translator. At the end, he said, finish, yes. So anybody can go ahead or take it as a page to revise when it was finished. It could count the number of characters, so the accounting could be done, but we assumed it as a work of a professional translator with a discount. Instead of 2,000 characters, we considered 1,500 because they were training. But we wanted it to be like the real job they will be doing at the end. So these are the pages with the translation, the double-sided ones, and then we had problems because we had version update. It took time, and please, if anybody of Moodle headquarters is here, never dismiss the LTS versions. Otherwise, nobody will ever do the translation. One version is valid for some time. The documentation is good. Also for administrator, they are not very willing to update every time, especially if they customize something, because they will run into problems otherwise. And we also did. So we had pages with the version number, and somebody put version side by side and decided, okay, this is the update or not. Now imagine 800 pages just to this check over and over again. So at the end you see, the page is finished, yes, which is the version, doesn't need to be updated. Is it online? is that doing the revision online? Is it okay? Because we had layers of revision. The revision phase. The student went through the translation, then we used to put notes, and each young translator had the ownership of the page, which was intended as so. Because if you own the page on Google Drive, any comment will reach you immediately. And that was good, because they were working. Any comment would go to them. They could talk about problems. They could call me into the discussion to say the final word and go ahead. That was very important. And they did this in phases. You see this one. This was one of our best senior translators helping the others. So, 3 revisions. The first one, peer revision. The second one, my collaborator and I. And this one made by the community at the moment of putting the page on the server. So, quite a long. Uploading, well, the wiki. I always told you about the different pages. We also had the chance to correct some parts of the English documentation, wherever we found something which was made in different ways. Helen got a lot of emails from us, from me and Daniela. And we also had Andrea, which is the Italian maintainer of the Italian pages, because some words, this is a long list of suggested changes on Amos, just because of the strengths were different in different contexts. So, yes, we did also the subtitles. We collected all videos from all the pages. We downloaded the scripts, and we did the translation almost in the same way as all the rest. We also used YouTube Studio because Italians tends to be more wordy and long. So you have to adjust times just to get in sync with the video. That was done also. I imagine that in Chinese would be easier because it's shorter. So you always will be in touch. Okay, I must finish with this slide. I would like to thank the Department of Linguistics and Translation at the University of Pisa, my graduating student Daniela Rotelli, all the junior translator, the Italian Moodle User Association, I am the president of it, which also founded the uploading of all the pages on the site. And thank you to Martin, to Moodle HQ for inviting me here and give you this talk. Okay, how much time?
2 more minutes.
Okay, fine. No, because I would like to show it live. That's it. A few instructions. This is the total number of characters. We are 1 million words ahead of War and Peace. Just to have an idea of what the job it is. Okay. This is the list of the pages. We sorted them. And this is something that I will ask Moodle HQ to take care of. Which is the standard sequence, you think? The standard way to list them in the template. If you give it the right number here, then it will be used afterwards, and I'll show you how. Okay, this is the template. This is something very new we are doing now. Priority, who is in charge, if it is done or not, the Italian name. If it is online, who will done the revision. Translations, same stuff, you already saw this. Same for capabilities, which we did directly on the page itself. They are all very short, so it could be done. It was useless to make one page for each of them. Subtitles, they needed a different page, but the accounting is made here. Oh, speaking about accounting, we had this one also. The way of accounting the work of the translators. This is the work made of pages, total characters, translated into standard pages, 1,500 characters each. Then the hours spent in translation, revision, we asked the colleagues who were professional, which was the right correction rates, some bonus for creating video, helping other students in translation, which is the status of the 150 hours and the final state. If you take pages ahead, if you book pages, I want to correct this, this, and this, you will be listed here, and the face becomes more and more as the number grows, in order not to avoid a great number of pages. This is the status by priority, and pleasure for me to say that almost all important Mark 1 have been done. And finally, this is all active. If you try, you see blue and red, they go automatically. Every time you translate a version and it needs to be updated, the line gets red, so you know that there is some work to do on it. If you try to add one page that is already there, it becomes yellow and red, so you know that, okay, this is some work that you can avoid. Unfortunately, until I did it, some pages were translated twice, it happens. And more important, and this is interesting, the templates are the small summaries that you see on one side, which are the pages related to. And we found that the actual system is not nice enough, because you have to decide which is the name of the template, but it should be the name of the main page. We spotted that one also. Because in this page, you just put the templates, you get this list is made automatically. Whenever you put a new template, it will be listed here, and guess what? If you go to the page, these drop-downs take from the previous list. So, what is listed here will end up in the other page, and this is also the list of that will go in the drop-down menu, just to avoid typing errors, which we want to avoid always. Okay, once you have this, assume you want to, activities. That's it. This will be the page that you will copy and paste to create a template, all automatically. Thank you. When I started, everybody told me, you're crazy, you'll never go through it. On the first one, probably they were right. On the second one, they were wrong. Thank you. I used up almost all the time. Please feel free to contact me for any question. All the documentation, don't invent the wheel again. We did our mistake. Please, go ahead. Thank you.